Welcome to Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends, brought to you by Dirty Talk. I'm Tatiana Ashbourne, and this is my friend. This is Steve, everybody.
Hi there. Hi there.
Welcome to Under the Sheets with me, Tatiana Ashbourne, and all my friends. Laugh about it.
Give it to me, baby.
Learn about it. Love it or hate it. Let's do it. Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends. Coming up in this episode.
So I was at university. Didn't last there very long. Yeah, that was I don't know how I came out of that one alive, but I did.
Stay tuned to see what happens. Thank you so much for coming on board. How are you feeling right now?
Not as nervous as I was yesterday.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Why have the nerves changed?
I'm here now, and I know you, and
Yeah.
you've made me feel quite comfortable. This is quite a long way out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
But that's why it's worth challenging, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
So-
definitely. Why is it so outside your comfort zone?
Well, I suppose I'm quite old, but my upbringing was, a single-sex school and
Okay.
with lots of boarders. I wasn't a boarder, but all boys. Girls didn't come to the sixth form, so this
Yeah.
was pretty much out of bounds, really, until I was 16, 17. So,
Yeah.
and sex education was,
Wasn't
I
that good?
remember some weird bloke who did science trying to tell us with a mouse or something what things were, and
Yeah.
it was all really ridiculous. So,
Oh my goodness.
so, it was appalling.
Yeah.
I've got children now, and I see what they're learning, and it's much better. And I wish it would have been like that with us, but anyway,
And so when
it's
you
changed.
Yeah, and when you grew up with your parents, you didn't speak about sex.
Not
You-
much, no, not really. I think they thought that was be handled at school.
Yeah.
And it was, but badly.
Yeah.
And I came from a traditional background, I suppose.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't out of bounds, but it just, wasn't. I come from three brothers, so.
Yeah.
There weren't girls in the house apart from my mother,
Yeah.
and she had three boys who were continually fighting each other. So, there wasn't much time to talk about feelings and all the rest of it.
And what was the first thought you had when you realised what sex was?
Well, I used to be reading those Jackie Collins books back in the day. So,
Okay, I don't know what that is.
it's not Jackie Collins, but it's her sister. I don't know. Maybe it's Jackie. I don't know. It's the Collins family.
Yeah.
They used to write these racy novels, and I remember reading them on holidays and stuff, and getting, my brain started
You're
ticking over, whirring,
yeah.
and going, oh gosh, right, and this is a new world sort of thing.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess I was introduced to it all via her.
Yeah.
Because you could read it on the beach, or you couldn't. When you found the old porno magazines in fields, you
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
take that one to
the
a beach
beach,
and
yeah.
read it like that, could you? But a Jackie Collins book, fine.
That's amazing. Wow. And how was it being around other guys in your boarding school? Was emotions talked about, or was it very much like, I have to be a man?
No, I mean, I was a day boy, so I went every day, but there were boarders there, and I'm still
Yeah.
friends with them. I'm seeing a couple of them tonight, and so they were all a bit weird.
Yeah, okay.
And but because you hear rumours and stuff of what's going
Okay.
on there, and there was one particular boarding house that was very weird. And
In what sense?
Well, boys and boys doing stuff, and
okay.
they seemed to have that'd be the place where, I don't know how they knew, but that was where boys would be there, and that house was particularly, I don't know, just where they played around, I guess. But,
with each other?
Yes, indeed,
So,
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was that was a known thing.
Well,
Because I
it's
feel like
only
a lot
when
of
you
people hid it.
Yeah, it was hidden, but everyone knew, sort of thing, within the. And it was just that one particular boarding house was just seemed to be that's. I
Yeah.
don't know how they all ended up there, but they all seemed to have. That's just the way it was. But
Yeah.
you never went anywhere near there really. But they're all just experimenting, I guess. So I don't know what they were up to. But
And did you ever question your sexuality when knowing what they were up to?
no, I didn't actually. No, I haven't really. No.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't. People. I've asked that before. Girlfriends and wives, whatever. And I don't. No, I haven't really ever questioned
Yeah. And you said that the girls came in the sixth form.
Yeah.
Was that
not many of them, unfortunately?
Okay.
So it's like poor them, you know.
Okay, but was it like, wow, okay, now there's girls coming? Was it exciting, or was it a bit?
I had a group of friends at school, and we had girls. I was going out with girls from about 15, 16,
Yeah.
and that was from a local girls' school. And there was a group of us, and we were going out with them. So
Okay.
so I had gone out,
So you were
but
sort
it was
of used
all
to
like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you know, and
Yeah.
then you get chucked. I think is what they called it. And then you get another one, and
Yeah.
then, you know, they get another one, you know, and it just goes around like that a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't totally naive to them.
Yes, yeah.
But it was still quite, you know, having a class with girls, you know, up to the age of 11, I was in a primary school. But,
Yeah.
you know, those are very big years of your life, 11 till 16.
Mm-hmm.
And not to have any girls around at all is, you know, it's a bit weird, really.
And now with your children now, do you think they should be in a mixed school? Do you think that works better?
Yeah, I don't know why I did it, but they both my daughters went to a single sex school in London.
Yeah.
But they both decided to leave at 16 and go to a college or another one, a mixed one. You know, that was my decision to pay for them. But they jumped ship at 16.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I did it. I think it was the best thing at the time there. But
why do you think you should be in a mixed school?
Well, because, you know, half the population is male and half the population is female, and you've got to get on, haven't you? I mean, and I was very, and I still am, quite nervy with women, and just because I don't know what to say. I think I'm going to muck it all up and come out of rubbish, and, you know, possibly am already. But you know, it's
well, I'm very lucky to have you on my
so, but it's just a. Yeah, it's a funny thing, you know. But you got to mix from an early age, haven't you? And otherwise, how are you going to get on? And so, it was a big regret. Not a regret, but it was different in my day.
And in the school, did you learn about like what a vagina looks like? And
it wasn't. Yeah, it was diagrams.
Yeah.
And then of course we had the old mouses one, which when we were dissecting it, we was trying to show us what was in there, but I don't know if there was something.
What? That's so ridiculous.
And then you just have a big sort of black and white thing with a curve, and then it would just have names dotted around, and that was it really.
Okay.
There was no sort of, you know, there wasn't there were videos around in those days, of course there were, but there was nothing to, you know, to bring it to life or something, you know. There was just zilch.
Wow. And was it like the boys would you laugh? Would you?
But that or you throw things at someone. And
hopefully not the mouse.
You try and you try and embarrass each other, of course, you know, and you know, then pretend that you know what's going on, and and then trying to wind up your mate who doesn't know, but you don't know yourself anyway. So it's a lot of that goes on because everyone's nervy, I think.
Wow, yeah.
And so they just try and make a joke of it all.
Mm-hmm. And can you remember your first sexual experience?
Yes, full sexual experience. Yes, yeah.
What, can you talk to me a bit about that?
Yeah, horrendous, really. But I was pleased I got it over with.
Yeah.
I know where I was. We used to, you know, it wasn't a party, it was a gathering, I think they called it now.
Yeah.
And she was a bit older because I wasn't driving, she was. And it was just, she was a sister of a girl I knew.
Right.
And she had a bit of a reputation. So what? I don't care. But it was sort of one-way traffic.
Right.
Didn't last very long, and I just didn't know what I was doing at all.
Okay.
And she was quite sort of domineering and sort of did it all, and then it was over, sort of thing. So not great, but
were you impressed or not at all?
No, not really. I you think, oh, I wish it would have been magical and everything else, but also you just want to get it out of the way, don't you? I think as a boy, there's so much pressure on you. That you just want to get it chalked off, and you don't really look at it as anything at all. You know, you just want to get it done and talk about it, or at least tell people that it's happened. So, you broke your duck, sort of thing. So not very good at all.
Broke the duck. I've never heard that phrase before.
So not very romantic. A bit disappointing all round, I'm sure. So not the greatest experience.
And then from there, was it a while before you had sex again, or was it?
Yeah, we did a lot. had girlfriends, but then we didn't have real sex
Yeah.
until a bit later. So after that one, the sort of the event. Okay, yes, all right. I had a sort of girlfriend for about 9 months, and she was at school, and she was the year below.
Right. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, and that was quite good. That was
Yeah,
that
and
was
then you
fun.
got into the hang of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, and she was quite a man's woman. You know, she was quite happy to be in the pub and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it didn't affect my social life having a girl. She just came along,
She just came along.
and then she enjoyed it and everything else. So yeah, but that wasn't great.
Okay.
Sexually, it was just functional, I think.
Yeah, and have you had good sex, or has it all
Yes.
been pretty?
No, I've had good sex. Yeah. I've been married twice. I've had good sex with both my
Okay.
partners. I've also had bad sex with both my partners.
Yeah.
I sold my company years ago, and I bought a house in Ibiza, and I had that for about 10 years. So I lived the life a bit. I was a bit of a raver.
Yeah.
So I had got up to lots of no good then.
Yeah. Is Ibiza what people like? Is what people say about Ibiza very much?
Yeah,
what
it is.
Ibiza
Yeah, it is. And also when you're on the island living there,
Yeah.
you get to know everyone. Especially out of season, and it is quite hedonistic, I suppose. A lot of private parties. It's not like orgies or anything, but but it's like it's quite free.
Yeah. Okay.
And everyone's doing stuff, and it's all very sort of everyone's very eclectic, and that's you think, oh, I'm in Ibiza, let's be Ibifincan, as they say.
Yeah, definitely.
Do as they do, sort of thing.
Did you feel like you had accomplished your life being in Ibiza, doing like God knows what? Do you?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't sustainable really.
Yeah.
And the money started going, but no, I'm pleased I did it.
Yeah.
I blew a lot of money doing it, but but it was a good experience. And my daughters were growing up at the time, and they loved it, and they were all free, and they're blonde, and curls and flowers in their hair, and they were really quite hippie girls, and I had spent the whole summers there, so they loved the island, and they're 18 and 22 now, so for them it was a good experience, I think, and I know they look back on it really fondly.
That's great.
And so I can't.
Yeah.
It just cost me a lot of money, and I'm back to where I started, sort of thing.
Yeah. And do you notice between your marriages that the love was completely different? Like, do you look at your first... Because obviously sometimes when you have your first boyfriend and then you get your next boyfriend and then you think, oh, I was never in love. Like, that's not what love is. Do you think that of your marriages, or is it a different type of love each time?
Okay, well, the first one, it was I just rush into everything. Once I find, if I find someone. So the first wife, we got engaged in 2 months.
Wow.
Quite young compared to all our sort of group of friends. And we married them within 6 months. But we didn't have kids for a long time because we were partying, sort of thing. The second second marriage, I had my son within 3 months. Well, conceived my son within 3 months. And we were married then when he was a year old or whatever.
Yeah.
That was totally different as well. But I think I just fall in love, and I wanted another child, and so I wasn't bothered about that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what it is. My mum, she said, I don't care what you do, Steve, and she's quite religious, but don't fucking get married again. And she goes to church every week.
Wow,
but that's what she said. Just find someone. Don't fucking get married. And she never swears.
Do you think that marriage is the answer?
Well,
Is that the key to happiness?
No, I don't think marriage as a sort of a document is important. No, I mean I'm half religious, but no, I don't think that is. But I think a partnership, traditional sense, i.e., one.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that's all right.
Yeah. Okay. But you don't regret like going into it too quick.
Oh yeah, both times. Well, I lost. I lost all my. I was quite successful at one point in my life, and so I think I might explain. But I sort of half my money each time.
Each time,
So
yeah,
then
yeah.
I ended up with very little.
Okay.
And I had quite a lot to start with. So it's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
But now so another half will
Yeah.
I'll be on the floor. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't go.
So you
and
can't get married yet.
No, don't get fucking married again. But I probably will one time. I don't know.
And what do you think love is?
Well, it's a partnership. It's sensual, funny. It's intimate and those sort of things. I think that's it always starts so well, doesn't it? Sort of. I'm just thinking what it like at the beginning and then at the end, and it's totally different, obviously.
Yeah.
It's those sort of things, really intimate. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think it should be fun, and I'm just trying to think. It was
Fun.
both times,
Yeah.
but then it certainly wasn't at the end. So
And because it seems like you fall in love very quickly.
Yep.
Do you believe in love at first sight, or?
yeah, I do. I think
Wow. Straight to the point. Straight to the point.
I think you can tell a lot by someone. I mean, not when I say first, but mannerisms and how they are. I don't know why I'm bloody saying this, because look at my track record's pretty crap. But I do think once you see someone very quickly, you can get their sort of way, their feel.
Yeah. And how do you feel sex has changed since when you were younger to how it is now?
Well, it's thankfully more open. I mean, as far as people are having more sex, but the fact that people are talking about it, that's good, because obviously I've got kids and they're getting older, and I don't want them to really have what I had, and I don't think they have, though I know they haven't. So, so what was the question? Sex?
Yeah. Do you think it's changed, like the whole concept of sex?
Well,
not
I think
necessarily
it's not so sort of hidden, is it?
Yeah.
So. Hopefully it'd be easier for the next, for the ones coming up now. I'm sure it is.
Do you think there's like more to do in the bedroom now as well, I suppose?
Yes.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
Than before? I don't know whether it was more straightforward.
I mean, when you say more to do, what? More sort of toys to play
Was it
with?
like one position?
Oh,
that's
no,
it?
I think
Or
that, I
is
don't
it
think
like-
that's ever been like that. Is
Okay.
it from I think the cavemen were doing things all sorts of ways, weren't they? I don't know. I hope they were.
Probably. But like, as in regarding to toys, I'm sure there was like.
Oh, there weren't so
probably
many,
not
but they would have
that,
used other
probably.
things possibly. I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah, but no, they're not weren't so freely available and things.
Yeah.
And they've been a great addition, to be fair.
Okay. Do you use sex toys?
Well, yes, I have done both quite a bit, and yes. I'm just thinking again.
Great. And do you think it helps in the bedroom aspect, or would you prefer just to have like the
No, I think it does. I think when I say varieties, that's a bit corny, but that means multiple partners. I don't mean that, but I mean the variety of sort of playing around and doing things.
Learning different things.
Is cool, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything to make it last longer, I suppose. So
Yeah.
it's got to be good.
And have you noticed that, obviously you said you were very nervous at the beginning of your life to have sex and everything. Have you noticed it like has got easier, or are you still nervous? Are you still an awkward
I'm still
person
nervous,
with it?
so I'm hoping things like this will sort of reduce it.
Yeah.
Because but I don't feel so nervous now, to be fair. But I just know that my kids won't have the feelings I've got, that how I've had, and I just, every day I've tried to be more, not so much liberal, but just be open, because I think you've got to be open about everything.
Yeah, definitely. And why do you think that you are so worried about things?
Well, I don't know. You don't know. I've had my fair share of sort of issues mentally, often revolving around, incidents in my life, and I know I've inherited it, so it's difficult. I'm not sure where you want me to go with that one.
No, but that does make sense, that it's just like that you think it's a mental block. In your head. What would you say to someone else that's going through the same mental block?
Well, I think a lot of it is just worried about being open and and talking about things and being nude and with your family and stuff like that, and that just never happened with with me,
you,
and
yeah.
and I've tried to change that. It's just trying to get your surroundings as comfortable as you can
Yeah.
make it, really. So then there isn't any pressure, or you're reducing the pressure that's on everyone most of the time anyway. Especially for the youngsters these days, it's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine all that, being slagged off on that social media, and then
Yeah.
it's difficult, invisible people being horrible. It's not. It's a lot harder now.
Yeah. No, it's very true. What should every single dad know about his kids? That doesn't have to be to do with sex. That's just general.
Their the happiness index. So what, because everyone's different, obviously,
Yeah.
and yet they've all got different way, and they've all got different. But knowing what their happiness index is, and then whenever it dips below that line, that you're right in there helping them out.
Yeah.
And he's just finding what that is for each one of them.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
Do you think kids has brought a new lease to your life?
Yeah, I mean, it's, in a way, but I have seen some people living their life through their kids, and I find that horrendous. When they sort of wish they'd done it, so they channel all their stuff. Buying a
They make your
motorbike or
kids-
something and stuff
yeah.
like that. Stuff, and I find that horrible.
Yeah.
But there's a middle ground, isn't there? And trying to ensure that they're happy and sort of respectful and on level head, and you've got their back, really, because as I said before, it's very hard out there now, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
Especially if you're slightly weak mentally. Mm-hmm. It's a bloody bull ring out there, isn't it, with what's going on? So
Yeah. And as your children are growing up and everything, what are you most proud of?
Well, nothing academically, because it doesn't bother me really, and not that I haven't achieved anything else, but what's my greatest achievement with it? That they can talk to me, I think.
Yeah.
You have met them.
Yeah.
And we were playing a game that was quite open.
Yeah.
And so that's quite good. And
Yeah.
I just hope I can do that with my son, who's completely different as well, very sensitive. I think very much like I was. And I've got to work out what's best for him, but he's only 9, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pleased about how they've turned out so far, and they've had their stuff, and we just dealt with it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I've had some
definitely.
stuff that I've really had to get in, but we've
Yeah.
come out of it. And,
Do you think there's stuff that you're going to have to overcome with your son?
yes.
In what sense?
Possibly sexuality, but he's far too young for all that. He's quite shy. I think he might have some sort of not learning. That's not right. But he might have some sort of tension stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't had a son
Boys,
before.
yeah, so you don't
but
know.
I do come from that, and I know what probably doesn't work more than what does. So
Yeah, definitely.
at least I can avoid them.
Yeah.
And mine was it was just violence, really.
Yeah.
With 3 brothers, and there was no time for any sort of sit down, have a family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sexual. It wasn't going to happen.
And did you ever have the talk with your girls?
No, but only because I kept a very close eye on at school, and I saw exactly what they were being taught.
Okay.
I don't know if it's PGSC, SCE, I don't know.
PSHE, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And they would. I went to an evening class, not a class, where they because some of the parents I think were quite. I don't know, maybe different backgrounds, but it was quite revolutionary,
Okay.
and so they were giving you the heads up of what they were going to be telling your daughter, teaching your daughters. And I went to that one evening, and it was going to be full on, and I thought, great, that's fine.
That's
so,
amazing.
and we spoke about it briefly. Yeah, they didn't really want to talk about it with me.
Yeah.
But I've said, I have obviously offered myself, but but I know that they benefited from it, and they're probably talking to their friends. I should catch up with them and see if they want me to help them anymore.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That's so funny. So, do you have your worst sexual experience? Was your first time your worst?
It was that was pretty grim. Oh yeah. Yes, I was at university. Didn't last there very long. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't know how I came out of that one alive, but I did. But it was a learning curve, I suppose. But yeah, it was someone slightly senior to me at uni, but fairly, athletic, I suppose.
Yeah.
But just, I barely came out of there alive. It was just.
I said it was just too
and then
much.
well, yeah, and yeah, it took me quite a time to recover from that. To be honest with you, the pressure on to perform, and then and it was God, yeah, it's been giving me palpitations thinking about it again.
Wow.
No, yeah.
And it was just so stressful.
I know her name and everything. Yeah, it was stressful because she was, really was experienced and really, a huge sexual appetite. I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just, it was just, I was sort of like a rag doll, really.
Yeah.
Lots of I remember oh God, yeah, I remember it all now. I can see it all. I remember crawling out of there in the morning. Oh Christ. Okay.
Do you feel, is it easy now trying to find another partner maybe? Is it easy to do or is it very difficult? What do you look out for now? And especially going through 2 divorces, is there something you're like, right, that's what is a no-go zone now?
Well,
when someone has a certain personality and you're like, yeah, I've dealt with that. No.
Okay, well, I'm going to spend a bit more time next time round on doing it. But I know I won't probably that much. But I'm going to take stock.
Yeah.
Rather than do the next stage, just jumping in. I think someone was teaching me the other day some techniques about what I should be doing, and one of them was stop. It's called stop, and then stop what you're doing and have a look around and see if that's the right thing.
Yeah.
So next time round, I don't know. I couldn't really have it. I love having kids around, but I'm getting too old, I suppose. So I don't. It's still a bit raw for me. The next one.
Yeah.
But I want to be happy with someone. Of course I do. And share some more experiences.
But do you think you could go onto a dating app, or would it just have to
I think I'd really struggle because, I'm quite shy, and I've always met girls when I've been either drunk or slightly less inhibitions. I don't know. So a dating app, going somewhere sober to meet a stranger, it just I was I was worried last night about this, and I don't know how I'd cope with it. I'd be like, oh God, I'd want to just go. Let's have a couple of let's have 12 gin and tonics. But you can't really do that, can you? Before you're going on a first date.
Yeah, I know. That would be a red flag for them.
Yeah. So no, that scares the life out of me, to be honest.
Wow,
but it's probably something I might have to do. I don't know. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And when you were growing up, did your parents have a big influence on who you dated?
No.
No.
Didn't have a clue. No.
Okay.
They hardly had a clue. There was no mobile phone, so.
Yeah.
But
they didn't. But did you know what they'd approve of, or?
I think my dad would have approved of anyone, as long as it was female. At that time,
Okay.
I think he doesn't give a toss now about anything. I think I think later on in my life they might not have been very impressed, but they never met those, so that's good.
Yeah.
But early on they were fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's have you taken a girl out on an amazing date? What's the best date you've ever been on?
I think my second wife's first date was pretty good. We went to an art gallery, which totally. I mean, I do like art. Don't get me wrong, and I have a bit of a small collection, but I've never been out on a date there. It's very sort of more, very cool, isn't it? Go gallery on a date, but it wasn't my idea. It was her idea. We had met before, but it's very good because you're not sitting down in one place.
Yeah.
You're walking around. You can easily escape. Like you say, you're having dinner for first, and the person's a complete knob.
Yeah,
you just want to get off, don't you?
Yeah.
You're only on your starter.
And in a gallery, you don't necessarily have to talk.
Not really. You look, and then you might go, "Well, that's a lot of old shit, isn't it?" Or something. Or can you feel it? I can feel it there. All that but or say nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember it was quite easy. It was a David Bailey, the photographer exhibition.
nice.
So it's all London centric,
Yeah.
and so that was good. And the date progressed very well from then on. Actually, to be fair. After that, we were a couple, more or less.
Wow. Yeah.
But they didn't end up very well. So.
And did you ever have a really bad date?
Oh yeah. Oh, date. Yes. I had a horrendous one. I don't know. A lot of my dates have been sort of in the showbiz. I don't know. My second wife was an actor, and this one was a children's TV presenter, and my mate was going out with one of her friends.
Yeah.
I'd met her at this party, and I'd had a bit some I think, some ecstasy.
Okay.
So I was quite fun.
Yeah.
And without being a monster,
Yeah.
but I was not drinking too. It wasn't drinking like loads,
yeah.
so I wasn't drunk or anything. And so she loved it, this girl, and she basically asked me out. And I remember going down to Richmond on the train, and it was on like an afternoon, and I just didn't know what to say to her. I was like, sat there going, what did you do? I just couldn't do anything. I was she was very attractive, but she'd asked me out, but I just went, and it was horrendous. I remember walking along the river, and I was trying to, what can I say next? What question can I? When you ask yourself, what question?
What question?
You never find the question, do you? Oh, that's no good. You just sit there, sort of saying nothing, and I felt such an idiot. And I thought, I'm just too shy. It just didn't work for me. So that was horrendous, and she was lovely, and she was slightly famous.
Oh, very
But anyway, not that means anything. But, so that was horrible. And I really, every minute of it I didn't like. I just felt.
Were you able to get out, or were you?
Well, it was an afternoon, and we sort of, I think we both knew, that we were probably better off in the evenings.
Yeah.
Certainly later on. We sort of parted company about 7:00. I remember by the station.
Yeah.
And it was, it was supposed to have gone on all night.
All night, yeah.
Sort of, for the evening, but we just didn't do it. Yeah, and I felt such an idiot prat, so I felt, God. So anyway.
And were both your marriages extravagant? Like, what was the wedding like?
The first one, first one was, because my father's a retired vicar, so he married us both times.
Wow.
And although he was retired the second time, but he came out of retirement, as they do, and helped out with it. So, but they were obviously church weddings. And the first one was quite big, morning suit job, but the second one was much more casual and had live bands, and that was in London. I think it was one of the hottest days of the year. So that was fairly extravagant. The second one I paid, because I had some money. The first one was it was all a bit showy rather than, morning suits, and then it was somewhere in Kent. It was just down the road, Hildenborough.
Oh, nice.
And so, they were fairly big.
Yeah.
But I don't. You don't need all that shit. To be
Do you
honest.
not think so?
No, I think casual's best, and just making sure there's lots. People aren't feeling uncomfortable, and then and having fun as well, and all that sit down stuff. Do you really want to sit on the same table of 8 people for 3 hours? Why not have it? More people walking around, and then you sit down, listen to speak. Make it all, and that's what my second one was like.
Yeah.
But when you're young, everyone wants it all.
Yeah. And so your third one, would you just go to a registry office?
Well, I don't think I'd be allowed to if my father's still alive. Although I wouldn't be allowed to get married if my mother's still alive.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think I would put them through it. And they're quite elderly now. So the third one, I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah.
It would be a low-key affair, though, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you dream of a wedding when you were younger?
No. No, I mean, I was in a choir at church school, at church, so I went to weddings. I had to sing, and we were given money for it. So to me, it was just a way of earning money.
Yeah.
No, I never didn't dream of church wedding and bells and all that, because I grew up with all that.
No, that is true. And did you feel a sense of achievement after you do get married? Do you feel like,
No.
okay, I'm actually somewhere in my life?
No, I didn't. That's probably why it didn't work out. I don't know. I never, no, it didn't. No, quite the opposite, really. It was all a bit crap.
It was like you got like I feel like there's so much preparation for the wedding,
Yes,
and then as soon as it happens, you're like, well, what's next?
It's a bit of a drop, yeah, and especially if you don't go away straight away and you hang around for a few days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't feel any. It was all so much preparation, organising,
Yeah.
stress. It wasn't fun. You know, I could see doing it on a beach somewhere being the way forward, especially for me now. It would be
definitely.
3 times.
And do you have a say on who your daughters date or will
No.
date? Do you have?
Oh God, if I did, I'd be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got opinions,
Yeah,
but I'm not allowed to say them. Not to them anyway. I can tell
Yeah,
other people probably. I'm quite pleased with my eldest just stopped seeing her boyfriend, so that's good. But anyway, I didn't say that. Not my-
So we're going to go to audience questions now.
All right,
We shall
okay.
see what we have. Right. Okay. How do you feel about youngsters changing their sexuality? Did any of your schoolmates discuss changing?
Right. Yes. There was one boy when I was growing up,
Yeah.
and I think he would have preferred to.
Yeah.
Now that came about when I think he was at 14, 15. Mm-hmm. I used to go smoking with him, and but he was he was a good footballer. But I think he was definitely wanted to change. Yeah, and I think he might have done later on in life. But you know, he was fair age. I mean, I'm hearing about it a lot more now, and you see it. And obviously, I've got kids, so you've got to be aware of it all. I just, you know, it goes back to the amount of pressure that's on them at the moment. And,
definitely.
And I just worry that they're too young to be doing stuff like that. I don't know what age is the right age. I've got no idea, but I don't think it should be sort of just given out. Really nearly in a way, because I like to see the stats on how many people then have it reversed, but I don't, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. It's
There should be an age limit, and I don't know what it is at the moment, but there seems to be getting younger and younger.
What would you say the age should be?
Well, probably people know their sort of bodies and sexuality and things fairly early on, I suppose. But you know, I thought 14 would be the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd want that to be absolutely sure, because everyone's buggered in those years, aren't they? Their head's still going, you know, everything, hormones and girls, boys, you know, whatever. It's so much going on, and it's such a big part of your growing up, and then to sort of suddenly put a massive sort of change in there, literally. I don't know if that's right. I just, you know, I think time take some time over it, because you know, it's a big thing to reverse.
It's a big thing to change. Yeah. And I'm surprised that you're saying that you knew a guy that was thinking about it.
Yes.
I didn't realise that someone would be so open.
Well, he was. I'm not can see him now. He used to dye his hair quite early, but he was. He dressed differently.
Yeah.
Very, very smart, but he just knew that he wasn't. You know, well, he'd much prefer to be a woman, I think. And but he was fine. He wasn't weak or anything. You know, he was a great football player. Like I said, not that that means anything, but you know, he wasn't. But he was just very well presented. And that's what he. You know, I'm sure that's what happened to him eventually.
Yeah. And do you feel comfortable in your skin? Not necessarily in the way that is in changing to a woman or whatever. As in, I just mean genuinely. Like, do you feel confident in it? And
well, I used not to, and but you know, I've just got to. I've got to keep telling myself it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. You know, you're not going to die. You know, your kids aren't going to die. So why, you know, don't care so much. Just be a bit more less reserved. And I'm hopefully that's, well, sitting here, bloody hell.
No, definitely. Do you have a type of girl which you go for?
Well, everyone says I do, because they all seem to look the same, but I don't think I do.
Okay.
But if they were to say, they'd say, it always seems to be sort of fairly tall, blonde, quite outgoing, probably rather, more than me.
Yeah.
That is true. I'm thinking of girlfriends as well as, wives, and they've all been much more outgoing than I have. So I guess I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Does that mean opposites attract? Or?
Well, it probably means I'm trying to make up for my
Your
nervousness.
Yes.
Yeah. My lack of personality.
Oh no, you don't have lack of personality.
So I'm probably trying to make up for that by nicking someone else's a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
There must be something in it.
Yeah. Do you see your traits in your children?
No. One of them I can see bits of me,
Yeah.
and then I can see, but not. It's all they're everywhere, aren't they? When you've got kids, you don't realise it, and I can see even my son has got some of my interests. And then one of my daughters got my sort of sensitivity. So I think you'll find that with all children.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You're always going to spot something in them that's you.
Yeah, and you've lived it's seeming to be everywhere. In countryside, London, cities, different countries.
Yeah.
Where would you say is the best place to bring up children?
Cambodia.
Why is that?
My brother lives there. I've got a hotel there, and my brother's I've got a niece. He's his only child, but she is brought up there, and she's half Khmer, and which is Khmer is Cambodian. And my daughters have been there. My son's been there, and they love it there. It's very, very safe and friendly.
Okay.
People think Cambodia, it's Pol Pot but that was all many years ago. But it's a safe country, and the kids are everything. I wasn't joking, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And what can you notice a difference between the culture of Cambodia to the culture here when it regards to sex and relationships?
I don't think they've got the pressure on them, but I bet. But they've still got social media. And I know my niece, she's 12 now, so she's just about gonna. It's all going to happen for her, isn't it? Yeah. And they have the same, because my obviously daughters are a bit older, or quite a bit older. Yeah. So they're sort of talking to her, and they're seeing the difference, and and her social media is quite big. So, I think she's already experimenting with what's going. So she's got it all ahead of her, poor thing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's been so lovely to have you. I do have a little gift.
Oh right,
for you.
Gosh.
I thought you can keep this when you're cooking the meals.
Oh yeah, I love cooking.
Home. Well, this is perfect. This
oh my
is
God, what's that?
I don't know what even to call it.
It's a cake.
Penis-shaped cake thing, or
cake for brownies.
Cooking maybe an egg. I don't know.
Right.
You have an egg thing in a jig, whatever shape you like.
That is fabulous. Thank you.
So enjoy.
No, I really will. Yeah, I will. Thank you very much.
Maybe you can take that in your hotel.
Yeah, we can have some sort of themed, some sort of puddings and stuff. Have them come out.
Be great.
I don't know about Cambodia. That will go down well there. Ibiza, definitely.
Ibiza, that's where.
That'll be perfect.
That's where it'll be. Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
This is Steve, everybody.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
If you would like to be a part of the show, please check out our website at www.dirtytalkofficial.com. We welcome all sexualities regardless of your sexual experience. If you would like to be an audience member only, please get in touch the same way. Like and subscribe on all social media platforms.